It's all good. You're my pencil teacher. Can you give me a pencil? She's got a phone on her.
Wow, it got really quiet all of a sudden. Thank you. All right, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I am calling this meeting to order.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, if I could have a motion to approve the agenda for this evening, April 13th.
Dave?
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. We are going to start with the fun stuff. So we have an accolade today. So if I could invite, this is for the Science Olympians, if I could invite James Hutchins, our science teacher, to come on down. And then we're going to let you, along with Brian Reeve.
Yeah, a couple things.
Sorry.
No, I just wanted to, congratulate Jim and just continue to appreciate his dedication to being the Science Club advisor and running the Science Olympiad. And then to our students, I mean, the dedication you guys have put in for several months, that's not easy to do, and you keep persevering forward. So you should be really proud of yourselves and how you represented Greenville this year. So I'm going to turn over to Mr. Hutchins because it's his show, but I just wanted to at least make sure I thanked you for, again, your dedication and commitment, and you too, Mr. Hutchins.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Reed, for your support. So the Greenville Science Olympiad team competed in the regional competitions on Saturday, March 21st at Ravine and Kleeman-Silker. And the team did very well and received the following awards. And some people are listed more than once. The first time you're called, you can come on up here. And not everyone's here. But for entomology in third place, we have Liam Elsasser and Jake Solis. For experimental design in second place, we have Ben Bouquet and Lucas Litz. For helicopter in fourth place, we have Wyatt Ambrosio and Benji Litz. I tried to convince him to ride the helicopter here. For Mission Possible in first place, we have Lucas Litz again. And for Scrambler in second place, we have Brady Carroll and Steven Snyder. And I also want to thank our coaches, Mrs. Litz, Lana McDonald-Katz, and Mr. and Mrs. Snyder. I'm sure Lucas Litz would join me in this. A special thanks to Miss Lewis and her technical support and room usage storage for Mission Possible. So thank you very much, everyone, for your support. Thank you, coaches. Thank you, participants. We are going to retire now to a pizza party. But grab some dessert on
I was
the
going
way
to
out.
say, some desserts. Don't be shy.
And are those some of the medals?
Yeah.
Okay, now have dessert.
Great job. Just would like to thank you very much for you parents, everyone, the kids. It's wonderful to see the results. It's wonderful to see the excitement of really finding something that they're passionate about, and they're going above and beyond, and really the act of discovery. And so kudos to everyone for igniting that in students, for all the parents that contribute, because we know without your support, getting the kids there and also helping. So thank you, thank you.
And I would just like to jump on board with that too. I think this is the best part of and I think for board members to be a part of, is to see the kids up here presenting, and Jim and the parent volunteers. Can't thank you guys enough for leading the way with our students and our kids and really working together as a team. We appreciate that, and we know that they're going to grow up and do great things because of the support and tutelage of Mr. Hutchins. So thank you very much. Kids, great job. Take 2 of everything.
All right, now I'm going to move on to what says the presentation. It was intentionally vague for obvious reasons, or for reasons that will become apparent in a minute. This is my last day, and my microphone is going in and out, so hold on. Mine on the switch, exactly. All right, testing, 1, 2, 3. Not that I really have much to say, huh? So we kept it vague, but what we wanted to do really is to take a minute, or maybe 5, we're not quite sure, Mike, and embarrass you, or at least attempt to. Really, what we want to do is, first and foremost, thank you. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for caring. I think you have, I know you have made Greenville a better place. And really from the bottom of my heart and everything else, we truly appreciate your time here. We understand and look forward. It's like with a child, and when they go off to do great things, as a parent, you're like really proud. So we, of course, were thinking long and hard, now what could we do to help you remember your time here at Greenville? And some of us thought longer and harder to come up with the perfect gift. So now I'm going to turn it over to Kelly, who thought the longest and the hardest and came up with the perfect gift.
So it's been a solid 2 months since we first found out. And when you told us, the first thing you said was one of the hardest parts of making the decision was that you won't be around the kids. So we decided that whatever we did had to somehow incorporate that. So, with a lot of help from all of our building principals and teachers, just give me a second.
All right, so pretend there's a curtain here, you know, close your eyes. This is the magic as the reveal happens.
Take the kids with you.
Oh. Wow.
I told you she thought really well.
This is amazing. Do I have to say something?
There's also a book floating around, and if anybody else out there wants to sign it, there's a book full of messages for you to go with as well, for when you need them.
This is unbelievable. This is really, you've outdone yourself.
Can you show it to everyone? By middle school and high school, and at least one class at every grade level of the elementary school. And the kids all were very excited to send their names with you.
I'm going to take a minute, take a walk around. Thank you.
So when Kelly mentioned this idea, it was like, oh my goodness, this is absolutely perfect. It's perfect. Enough said. Yes, do it.
So the picture is the front of Scott and Ella's taken last year on Flag Day. So it has some of the kids lined up there. It was turned into a digital watercolor. And The message under it, I took a little twist on our motto, and so what it says is, Mr. Bennett will be forever smart and strong because he learned from us, he taught us, and he gave the kids a place to belong. And so now they're gonna go with him so that when he's having those days where he really wishes he was around the kids, he can just look at them. There's a couple of really unique ones on there. Have fun with that.
Well, let me just, you said some amazing things here, and I really do appreciate it. And at the crux of who I am and why I do this, it's the kids. Be able to be able to have an impact. And I've said this to a few people. You may not get rich off being in education and doing work with schools, but you'll become wealthy with just the gratitude of making a difference in someone's life. I found that really early in my career, and that became the basis of who I wanted to be. I never wanted to be a superintendent. I said that to a few people tonight, and in the past. I wanted to teach. I wanted to have an effect on kids. But life happens, and things happen throughout my career that showed me a different path. And when shown the path, I had enough guidance and faith in the fact that these changes and opportunities, when they come, you have to be bold and you have to step forward. And I've been able to do that throughout my career. Finding Greenville was something that, again, came across my desk. And I will forever be indebted to this community, to this school, for taking a chance on someone. Because this place is truly amazing. And I can't thank all of you enough for being a part of this school community and being part of the support for your kids, for the faculty and the staff, for the leadership team. This isn't everywhere else. I've been to a couple of school districts. I have a lot of connections. This is not everywhere. When we get teachers coming back here who've taught in other places because they want to be back in Greenville, you don't need a better advertisement for what you guys do. I am so happy that I could put this on my resume and to say that this was a stepping stone for me. But it's more than that. It has really become close to my heart. This opportunity with the state was something I was not looking for. But when an opportunity comes, you have to be bold enough to take it. So again, you will be missed. I will not be a stranger because I am going to the junior prom, or the prom I got asked today by the juniors. But again, I've said to a couple of the board members, I'm sometimes loyal to a fault. I will never forget this place, the people here. So thank you for everything. It's been a world to me and my family.
Thank you.
So it may seem somewhat anticlimactic, but I'm going to move us on to the open forum. Let me read. The Greenville Central School District wishes to facilitate public access to meetings of the Board of Education and to provide an opportunity for public comment at these meetings. Accordingly, the open forum provides an opportunity for members of the public to share thoughts about topics on the agenda. An individual's comments shall be limited to 5 minutes. Additionally, comments may be emailed to the district clerk, Daphne Pearson, using the email pearsond@greenvillecsd.org. In order for an email to be read during the meeting, it must be received by 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting and state that the email is to be read out loud. Emails shall be limited to 600 words. Please note that this is not the time to register complaints that need to be addressed confidentially through the proper channels. Remarks that might be considered defamatory, obscene, profane, stigmatizing, or otherwise impermissible in public forums are prohibited and will be declared out of order. Board members actively listen during open forum, but may not immediately respond to comments. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Thank you, Brenda, and if you could, for the record, state your name.
Absolutely. Good evening, my name is Brenda.
Good evening. My name is Brenda Schultes, and very much like Mike, stepping into a role that I never saw on my horizon, I am the president of the Greenville Faculty Association. I would like to take a few moments to express my sincere gratitude to our superintendent, Michael Bennett, for his leadership, dedication, and vision that he brought to our school community each and every day. Mike, when I arrived at your office for a regularly scheduled meeting on Thursday, March 5th, I was not prepared for the last item on your list, which was to inform me of your resignation. Since your public announcement on Monday, March 9th, the faculty and staff have had to ride out a series of emotions, one being loss, the loss of a trusted leader, uncertainty of who would be hired as the next leader of the district. With so many questions and concerns, my prep time was no longer sacred. And if we were working on a new building project, I would have proposed a revolving door for the chemistry room. After the initial shock that I would not retire with you as my superintendent, and the uncertainty of viral snow day videos, I thought back to our discussion on March 5th about leadership and legacies, and knowing when in the field of education we can say with certainty that we have helped to make a difference. Here are some of my thoughts. Strong leadership is not just about making decisions. It's about listening, supporting others, problem solving, and creating an environment where students, teachers, and staff can thrive. You have consistently demonstrated these qualities through your commitment to academic excellence, your openness to new ideas, and your genuine care for the people you serve. I have always found it admirable that when discussing personnel matters with you, you always wanted to make sure that the member that was struggling received all the help that they needed. You noted the importance of self-care and care for one's family above all else. As a result, we felt appreciated for all of the sacrifices that we tend to make at the expense of our own families each and every day. I also want to thank you for the positive changes you have brought to our district. Your willingness to embrace growth, implement meaningful improvements, and move our schools forward has had a lasting impact. These changes have strengthened our programs, supported our educators, and created better opportunities for our students to succeed. Your focus and commitment to school safety helped us to feel a bit more at ease and safer when the news headlines, sadly, were reporting on yet another act of violence that occurred at another school elsewhere in the country. When there were questions or concerns about a safety topic, there was a prompt discussion, brainstorming on improvements, and a plan made to ensure that people felt safe. Your ability to navigate challenges with thoughtfulness and integrity has made a meaningful difference in our district. Whether it's supporting innovative programs, prioritizing student success, or fostering a culture of respect and collaboration, your leadership has helped guide us forward with confidence. What truly stands out is your dedication to building relationships. You take the time to connect with students, staff, and families, ensuring that every voice is heard and valued. That sense of connection strengthens our community and reminds us that we are all working toward a common goal. When a parent communicated with you the value of the positive relationships their child had with faculty members, you informed the faculty members in person and followed it up with a card. I still have mine. These gestures make faculty and staff feel valued and appreciated. Because of your leadership, our schools are not just places of learning, they are places of opportunity, growth, and inspiration. I will miss the truly special working relationship that we have developed over the past 2 years. You have been a thoughtful, caring, influential leader. You have been a problem solver and a thinker. You have been the safety specialist for this school and now for all the schools in New York State that will benefit. You have been an inspiration to me and so many others. In doing so, you have helped to create leaders which will have a powerful, lasting impact. Now that's a legacy. On behalf of the GFA, thank you for your hard work, your vision, and your unwavering commitment to our district. Your leadership made a difference, and we are truly grateful. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Do we have any emails?
I received one. Dear members of the Board of Education, my name is Rochelle Martin, and I'm writing to express my support for Todd Hilgendorf as the next superintendent of Greenville Central School District. As someone who is deeply connected within the school district, as a parent, a volunteer, and a community member, I have had the opportunity to see firsthand the impact that strong leadership has on our school community. Through these different roles, I have observed Mr. Hilgendorf's commitment, professionalism, and dedication to the students, staff, and families of Greenville. Mr. Hilgendorf has consistently demonstrated thoughtful leadership and a genuine investment in the success and well-being of our school community. His understanding of our district, along with his ability to connect with staff, students, and families, makes him an excellent candidate for the role of superintendent. I truly believe that his leadership would help continue moving Greenville Central School District forward in a positive direction. For these reasons, I respectfully encourage the Board of Education to strongly consider Todd Hilgendorf for the position of superintendent. Thank you for your time and for your continued dedication of our students and community. Sincerely, Rochelle Martin. That's all.
All right, then I'm going to move us on to presentations and discussions, and we kind of lump them together. So, first we have the tentative budget adoption, and so Mike and Todd will discuss this. Go for it.
All right. Pinch hit this one for me? All right, well. Yes, we are come to the point in our budget process where we put before the Board of Education a budget proposal that we feel confident in, that it will continue to support programs, continue moving Greenville in the direction where we want it to go in regards to offering programs, opportunities for our students, and in such a way that it is fiscally responsible for our community as well. We understand where we're at with things outside of school and the importance of making sure that we have a fiscally responsible budget. So as always, I would like to talk about. We base it from the time we started having conversations with our leadership team in November in and around curriculum, culture, and community. Those goals continue to be our driving force, and we think that the budget that we put before you tonight supports those three areas. I would like to thank Todd for the work in putting these throughout this season, and I will turn it over to him.
Thanks, Mike. So starting with the same slides we look at each budget presentation as the foundation of the work that we do. So this one is our calendar looking at the budget development process. So we are getting all the way over towards the right. We're currently in April. During the month of April, two things happen which are on tonight's agenda. One is the board adopting the tentative budget, and then the other is the board adopting what's called our property tax report card that is submitted to the state tomorrow as long as the board adopts it tonight. The other things that happen in April, the tax levy set, well, that's part of the budget development process overall, and part of the adoption of the budget is that tax levy piece. The other thing I just want to mention on this slide in terms of the supporting documents for tonight, there's the slide deck that you see up on the screen, and then the other supporting document is linked on board docs, and board members have a copy of it, is the 26-27 appropriation status report. So this is a report, just to give you a little idea, it shows every single budget line and the appropriation side, so all of our expenditures, for the 25-26 school year, so our current school year. And then it also shows the proposed budget that we are looking to adopt tonight for 26-27, again, for every single individual budget line throughout the entire budget. And then it shows any dollar value change from this current year to next year, and the percent change that that amount is equal to. So this is big picture, every single budget code throughout the budget, current year and next year, and the changes from this year to next year. The other slide that we've looked at frequently throughout the budget development process is our budget construction formula. So tonight, all these pieces come together and get us to the point of looking at that proposed budget. So tonight we're going to look at the 26-27 proposed budget, overall where we are for the expenditure and the revenue side. And then we'll actually look at the revenue separately, at the expenditure separately, and then talk about the two upcoming dates for the budget hearing and the budget vote. So starting with big picture of the budget overall. So from this year, 25-26, to next year's budget, the top half of this slide shows overall proposed spending. So this is an increase of approximately $1.2 million, and that's a percentage increase of 3.34%. So that's one of the two kind of big things that we talk about, the overall increase to the budget. How much is that increase? That is that 3.34%. The bottom half of this slide looks at the tax levy, which becomes kind of the other big major talking point about the budget when it comes up for a vote. So within all the expenditures that we have, within all the revenues that we have, the tax levy is the one that we have the most ability to control as a district. So the tax levy increase on the bottom, again, shows current year into next year. It's an increase of about $730,000 for the tax levy, which is a percentage increase of 3.86%. Looking at the revenue side, we're going to start with state aid. So there's a lot of information on this slide. I'm not going to go through each individual thing, but give you kind of a big picture overall. As a reminder, the state budget has still not been approved. It's supposed to be done by April 1st, but as of today, we still don't have an approved state budget. So that does leave some questions lingering in terms of what we will truly get in terms of state aid, but we're also confident in the predictions that we make in this area. So this state aid, the proposed executive budget, which is that first column, is what the governor put out in January. We still base everything on that, and then make adjustments where we think things will shift from where that initial executive budget came out. So the next column shows the current 25-26 school year budget, and then the one that's kind of grayed out shows the proposed for next year. So to give an example of what's an area that we actually make adjustments to, a good example is transportation. So the state tries to make its best prediction based on historical trends of how much we spend in transportation to tell us what we will get in transportation aid next year. But we as a district have a better understanding of what we know we're going to spend within this current year. And our aid next year for transportation is based on what we expend in this current year's budget. So that's true for transportation, it's true for BOCES. So that's where we make adjustments based on what we know locally of our current year expenditures. So for the transportation one, because there is a significant change there, an increase, that is directly connected to purchasing more buses in the replacement cycle ahead of the requirement for electric vehicles. So we've talked about that at several different meetings. Over the past couple of years, we've actually reduced our fleet slightly in total, but we've also swapped out and traded in our older buses to get more diesel buses ahead of that EV requirement. So because of that, as we spend more in that area, we actually also get more aid back. So that's one of the big increases that you'll see here. In terms of foundation aid, that's the other kind of big piece that we've talked a lot about. As of right now, we will be a hold harmless district, which the governor in her budget put out a 1% increase, but the state legislature has been advocating for a 2%. And based on historical over the past couple of years, it has been that 2% minimum. So that's what we have included in the budget for next year, is that 2%. And then the last item just to touch on, towards the bottom, there's public high cost and private excess cost. So these are related to our special education students that are in private specialized placements. So while there's a reduction in one area, there's an increase in the other. It pretty much washes out overall the total amount that we will receive back in aid next year.
Todd, just a quick question related to the diesel buses. So 2027 is when they said that is the last purchase possible of diesel buses. Is it the 27-28 school year, or, because it's kind of vague, could you clarify that?
As of right now, it would be the 27-28 school year is the first year that we would not be able to buy a diesel bus. There has been a lot of conversation around the state about extending that, changing that. There is a waiver that the district applied for. We put that in March, and the state has said that they won't be reviewing them until the summer. So we'll hear back this summer. If we get that waiver, it would at least push that out 1 year for us, which is then 28-29. But still, I mean, there's information that's known, but there's still speculation that a lot of that may shift and change and see where it all ends.
Can I ask for clarification? Does that mean the last time we can buy a diesel bus is June 30th, 27, or is it?
Correct. Correct, yes.
At some point, and this may be something for summer work, it might be of interest to take a look at, in the districts where they have been proposing EV buses, there have been quite a few that have been voted down. And I think that it would be of interest to board members to try to get a sense to quantify it. Because what we read is more anecdotal, it's voted down here, it's voted down here, but I'd like to get a better sense and try to quantify it.
Okay. So that's overall the state aid. Shifting gears now and looking at property tax cap and tax levy. So as we previously shared, the tax cap for 26-27 came in at 4.17%. That means that is the highest that we could increase taxes and still get a simple majority in the vote to pass that budget. Through the work that we've done in looking at the budget and looking at historical, where we've been with that tax levy increase, there was concern about going out at that highest number, 4.17. So the budget that we talked about with the board, I believe it was 2 weeks ago when we were here talking about it, used a 3.86% increase, and that is what's included in the budget that is on the agenda for approval tonight. So what that means is it's that $732,000 increase from this year to next year, or 3.86% increase in tax levy.
And I really would like to thank you for sharpening your pencils and really looking line item by line item, because I think at the end of the day, it's always about managing the needs of both students as well as taxpayers. and kind of being realistic and doing that accordingly. So I think that coming in below that 4.17 helps to tell a story that we're truly listening to both sides of the equation.
And trying to balance all those demands, we understand that.
James, did you want to say something?
Yeah, real quick in regards to your comment a minute ago about the buses and getting, we're asking to get some type of tally of the schools that are, say, voting down or voting for, just to get a sense that, why?
I don't think this is as popular as, I'm trying to quantify. I mean, look, the future is unknown or anything else. And at some point, as we go to the legislators, we need to have a story.
Yeah.
So the story up till now is schools have to do this. But what happens in the communities where it is being voted down? So you know me, I like to pre-plan and have plan A, B, C, and D, and maybe I don't use any of them, but it helps, I think, to understand the situation.
Sounds good.
Our next area of revenue to look at is the appropriated fund balance. So again, we've talked about this at a couple of different meetings. So just to point out, looking at this current year, from last year to this year, we did an increase in this area of that $58,000. So as a reminder, that was the amount specifically set aside for the purpose of purchasing a new bus lift, because we knew that that was a one-time expenditure. So overall, the goal is to keep the appropriated fund balance and how much we use as a revenue source flat. So that's why you'll see in 23-24, 24-25, right, there was no change, trying to keep that number constant and flat. We did increase it from last year to this year for that specific purpose of a one-time purchase of a bus lift. So the plan all along was to reduce that $58,000 back out. So we're back to that flat kind of baseline of appropriated fund balance usage. Part of the process, as Tracy mentioned, going through with a fine tip pencil and really looking at all the different budget lines, finding something in next year's budget. Was there something comparable that was a one-time expenditure in 26-27 that we could use appropriated fund balance for? And the one area that I'm recommending is to use that for is the building condition survey. So that's something that's done every 5 years. So really for next year, it's a one-time item. So we're gonna pull over the amount that's required for that building condition survey next year. So overall, it is a decrease of $25,000 in this area, but the reason it's not back down to 0 in that area is because we want to try to get back to that baseline without using too much fund balance.
And Todd, who requires the building condition survey?
Building condition survey is required by New York State.
Thank you.
Done every 5 years to get the status of the condition of our facilities. So putting that all together on one slide, this shows the revenue, the 4 main areas: that appropriated fund balance, real estate taxes or the tax levy, state aid, and then other local sources of revenue. So that area includes our pilot payments, it includes interest on deposits, so money that we have in the bank. While we have it in the bank, we earn interest on that. Tuition, so students that come here for some of our specialized special ed programs, that money all goes into that other local sources and revenue as a category on the bottom there. So putting this all together, you'll again see that $1.2 million increase overall, which is a 3.34% increase. And the little pie chart on the right, I think, is just a good visual to show the 2 significant areas of revenue are clearly real estate taxes at just around 50%. So 50% of our revenue comes from the tax levy or collecting taxes from our communities. And then state aid is that other large percentage at just over 44%. So you put those together and you have over 94% of our revenue come from those 2 main sources. On the expenditure side, so New York State requires us to present the budget in what's called the 3-part components. So that's administrative, capital, and program. And we're going to look at each one in a little bit more detail on the following slides. This one just shows same numbers, right? Because our revenues have to match up to our expenditures. So the overall total increase is again that 1.2 million, 3.34% increase. And the pie chart here shows that the significant majority of our expenditures fall into what is called the program component, which is around 73% of our budget. Capital is just under 17, and administrative is just under 10%. So looking at those in a little more detail, this is the breakdown of all the areas that go into the administrative component. So this includes the cost of administration in all of our school buildings, along with the clerical staff that supports them. Liability insurance is in here. School board costs are in here. So those are just some of the items that fit into the administrative component. If you look on the bottom, in this component, there's an increase of just about $86,000, which is 2.3%. And I'm just going to touch on a couple as specific items. So personnel and human resources, you'll see an increase in that area. That's connected to our project that we've been working on for over the past year, which is digitizing all of our human resources files and also becoming much more digital in our how we post for positions, our recruitment, our hiring process. All of that is in a new platform. So we had to increase the budget for that purpose last year, and it continued this year to make sure we implement that with fidelity. So that's kind of just a note on the administrative component. For the capital component, this includes the salaries and benefits of all of our folks in the buildings and grounds staff. This also includes debt service for capital projects and bus purchases, and really any costs that go along with maintaining our facilities. Could be repairs, maintenance, those types of things. So in this area for capital, there is an increase of $297,000, which is a 4.79% increase. And again, just to touch on a couple here, one that you'll see a significant increase percentage-wise at 7.5% is employee benefits. That's directly connected to our health insurance and prescription drugs increase in those costs. And then the other one is serial bonds. That's at 5.82% increase. Again, that's connected to our purchasing of buses and purchasing more buses over the past couple of years. Last but not least, our third component, which is the program component. This is the largest area of our total budget. This has an increase of $873,000 or 3.16%. And to touch on a couple areas in this one, well, first, this includes all of our salaries and benefits for all the folks that work with students on a daily basis. All the instructional materials from general classroom supplies to equipment for classrooms, textbooks, and also all of our transportation costs, except for the purchase of buses, all fit into the program component. So to touch on a couple here, contract transportation. So while we have our own transportation department, we do contract out with other vendors for some of our specialized runs, specifically for students that are going to specialized programs. There is a significant increase in that area of 17.79%. That's directly related to those students and the placements that they're in and the distance that those buses have to travel and the different locations that they're going to. We've seen actually one of those locations changed this year, so it just increased those costs on our contract transportation side. So that was the three-part component budget. Same totals in this chart, just looking at it or kind of like slicing up the pie in a different way, because the three-part component budget, while it's required by New York State, can be a little confusing to understand sometimes. So this is just a different way of taking the total budget and breaking it down by different categories. So this one breaks it into like salaries and benefits. So that's the salary and benefit of every single employee that the district has. In this breakdown, that is the number one, right? The most significant cost for us as a district in this breakdown is the salaries and benefits at almost 70%. And then you can see the other areas. Contractual services, or anything that we purchase a contractual service. Could be something in B&G, could be we're paying tuition for a student to go to an outside placement. It's all in that area. BOCES services are all the different services that we purchase through BOCES. That could be our students that go to CTE programs, could be computer or software programs that we purchase through BOCES, anything that we get through our local BOCES. Debt service is all the payments that we make for previous capital work or previous bus purchases. Interfund transfer to federal and food service, it's actually just to federal. That's actually a specific amount that is used to pay for summer programming for special ed students. And then the last category, equipment, materials, supplies, and textbooks. That's everything that we purchase across the entire district, again, from pens and markers in classrooms to the paper towels that we put in our bathrooms. That's all in that last line of equipment materials. So again, this is just a different way of looking at the budget that I think sometimes is a little easier to understand. Okay, where are the most significant areas of expenditure? It's at salary and benefits. We value the people that come to work every day at Greenville because they're the ones doing the hard work with students. Well, obviously that's then reflected in the budget as the #1 expense. So bringing us back to where we started, same slide as I showed in the beginning with that total budget on the top with that 3.34% increase to the total expenditure side, and the tax levy on one portion of our revenue side is at 3.86%. And coming back to our calendar, when we look ahead to May, it's really about 2 dates in May. One is May 5th, which is the budget hearing, and this year we're going to do that in the middle school, high school auditorium starting at 6:30. So that is very similar to tonight's presentation, as long as the budget is adopted. A lot of the same information, maybe some new updated pretty graphs, but overall the information is very similar. That's for anybody in the community that wants to come hear more about the budget and ask questions about it. And then the other important date, obviously, is our vote for the election and the budget, and that is on May 19th from 1 to 9 o'clock in the elementary school cafeteria. Any other questions?
All right, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. It will be interesting to see when Albany finally gets their act together.
I see.
Yeah, exactly. All right, then I'm going to move us on then to we've got a draft of the school district calendar that everyone has looked at. If there's anything else that you kind of see that needs to be done or added and so forth. All right. No comments, nothing? All right, good, excellent, thank you. All right, and then we also have our Board of Education schedule. For that, that's included. So take a look at those dates, please add them to your calendar and so forth. It also includes, I believe, a list of presentations, tentative presentations that we have and so forth. So that is not 100% set in stone. We have the flexibility to still modify it, add things in and so forth, but it just gives the administrators a general sense of what are some of the presentations and so forth. All right, then I'm going to turn us over for the committee reports, and this is something that we have added more recently. Try to just make sure that everyone is up to speed, so on the different committees when we are meeting and what is being discussed. So one of the first ones is the district facilities. And Eric, I have your name for that.
I'm beginning to think that you guys like torturing me. So the facilities meeting didn't happen last time, and I punted my position of doing the report for another week, and I gave a brief update as to what facilities are. I believe it's May 7th is when we meet.
All right, then we will add you to the May.
Okay.
Why not? You know, third time's the charm.
Policy is on the 11th, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. But thank you for that update. Just quickly, how many times a year roughly do you generally meet?
3 or 4.
3 or 4?
Yeah.
Okay. With that.
And most of the time, it's a discussion of what's needed, what is most important to the different people involved in the community here as far as their buildings and teachers and so forth.
Now, is that committee heavily involved with the, let's say, the building survey?
Very heavily involved in the building survey.
See, so you're definitely going to be meeting soon.
Well, next year.
Pre-planning, pre-planning. All right, then, thank you very much. I'm going to move this over to technology, and Kelly, you're on that committee.
So technology met a couple of weeks ago, and that is headed up by Scott Gardner, but also has people from across the district. Our media specialists are on there, a couple of teachers, a parent rep, and other staff. We spent a lot of time going over our technology plan, which is something that's required by the state and has to be submitted. Scott has it in great shape. We did a lot of review on it, and I believe if it's not already submitted, will be submitted very soon. So we're well ahead of the deadline. We also spent some time talking about AI and proper use and so on. There's some great documents that are going to be coming. They aren't quite ready to share yet, but we got some information from the parties working on that. So that was kind of the bulk of the meeting. But those are the types of things that we spend a lot of time on.
Now, you mentioned that there was a requirement for submitting something.
A technology plan, which basically is us telling the state kind of what our goals are, where we stand on equipment, where we stand on like implementing different things, programs that we use, software programs and so on, and just kind of laying it all out for them and what our goals are for the next however many years before the next plan goes in.
Thank you. All right, let's see. I'm going to move us on to some of the policy. We've got a second reading of updated policy 5150 for that, which involves the Committee on Preschool Special Education. Does anyone have any comments or thoughts on that? Okay, and we also have the Hall Pass or Securely program, and Mike, your name is listed next to that, so.
Yeah, so this came up, I think Dave had asked a question around the Securely, the Hall Pass system in regards to learning a little bit more about the platform. Securely is an overall software platform that takes a look at school safety in and around technology use that will allow real-time monitoring and alerts for our IT and folks where kids are on different sites and things like that. There are other opportunities to embed random questions, I shouldn't say random questions, that will check on students' mental health and well-being each day before they log onto their computer. Just kind of give us a day-to-day brief synopsis of how kids are doing, and it gives kids the opportunity that if they're having some issues that they can reach out and do some follow-up. But I believe the main concern really was taking a look at ePass, eHall Pass, which is now called Securely Pass, and taking over that piece of the program and the monitoring. Really what this is, it's a software system that would allow teachers to, in schools, to better understand when kids are going to use the restroom, how often they're getting out of the classroom. This can give feedback to teachers, to building level teams, to leadership in buildings, to get an idea of what's the trends, what's going on. The idea is to be able to use that data to better secure or understand when kids are in the hallways, when they're moving in and out of the classrooms, really checking on how much academic lost time they may have, but also where kids tend to be meeting up and times of the day in which they're meeting up. So those are some systems. A few years back, I believe that we had a couple of members of our leadership team take a look at a similar platform to get an idea of where we're at. I know that one of my former districts had used it for a year, but had some issues with running it and keeping it. And I don't know to the effect of if it was the rollout that was the issue, if it was the software that was the issue, but they are no longer using it. So that was just kind of a little bit of a update on what Hall Pass is securely in the broader scope of things. So let's continue to take a look at this as a potential option. I don't have pricing on the management system overall, or if we can kind of take out that one pass, the e-hall pass, as a possible purchase. So, any questions about that?
I was wondering, is that software that students will be logging into each morning as part of homeroom, or how?
There is a part of the platform is something where it could be when they fire up their computers in the morning to log in, it would present them with a question, how are you doing today? Something simple, and, it just gives the kids that opportunity to say, yep, I'm fine, all's good, or hey, it was a rough night last night, or whatever, and this is information that we generated to kind of help us keep an eye on kids.
Gotcha. But is that something that, and it might be too soon to dig into the details, is that something that students would be able to skip through, or does it be something that you gotta answer?
I got to imagine that there is a out for kids who wish not to answer it or just move along, stay on by or whatever.
Gotcha. And do you know how that data would be stored? Would it be online, kind of like a Google Doc, but somehow secured? Or?
Yeah, they would have a secure system like most of our student information systems that would keep and house that information with the ability to get access for our PBS team if we're going to use that as an issue or an opportunity to gauge kids on where they're at mentally.
We were just talking about moving towards digitizing a lot of documents for HR. Is that also being done for student records? And then would there be or is there some type of common norm now where all that is being put online as far as student records, health records, mental health records?
Not online. As far as mental health, they're still secure. We don't have online systems that necessarily track those things. But as far as assessments and stuff like that, we do have a student information system that houses a lot of that information.
That's in-house, not
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I don't know if that was a direction that things are going, because there seems to be in every institution security issues for data.
Yes,
So,
yes. Data security is certainly a hot topic, and that's why, as much as we can, we'd like to keep things in-house as much as we can.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, then I'm going to move us on to our action items. So I'm going to combine 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, and 6.4. I need a motion to approve the minutes for the business meeting of March 9th, March 16th, March 30th, and March 31st.
Dave and Eric?
Any discussion? All in favor? Page. I need a motion to approve the finance reports for the month ending March 31st, 2026.
Eric? Kelly?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to accept the Committee on Special Education recommendations.
Eric and Karen?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the personnel agenda.
Kelly? Eric?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to adopt the 2026-2027 proposed school budget.
Mariah and Karen?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I need a motion to approve the real property tax report card for 26-27 for submission to the State Education Department.
Karen and Mariah?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the intermunicipal tuition agreement between the Greenville Central School District and Vernon Westerlo Central School District.
Kelly and Aaron.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to approve the health and welfare, am I going to combine them? Okay, great. So I need a motion to approve the health and welfare service contracts between the Greenville Central School District, Taconic Hills Central School District, Guilderland, North Greenbush Commons, Saugerties, and North Colony. These are for the contracts for the health and welfare services.
Kelly and Aaron.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Moving along. All right. That takes us through 6:16. I need a motion to approve the updated policy 6420 on immunization.
Aaron.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now, input items for discussion at a future meeting. Does anyone have any specific topics that they would like covered?
No, but I would like to get the data review back on the calendar.
Say that again, you would like what
Data
to be?
review meeting, the workshop to go over mid-year data that needs.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Okay, Karen?
We were receiving updates on vaping for a while on a monthly basis, and we'd like to see that
Okay.
continue.
All right. Maria, you had a question?
I'm not actually sure it's required of the board. I would like to see for concerts and other events, a section that is sent, or at least low sent, for people who are sensitive to scents and be able to sit.
You got to speak into the microphone. I can't hear you.
I said I'd like for concerts, for big school events, graduations, I'd like a low scent area for people to be able to sit.
Okay.
I almost was killed by some kid sitting next to me with cologne and people on either side of me who are heavy smokers. It's very hard to be there, like for people who have sensitivities to scent. That's a headache for 3 days. And I've had to leave concerts at the school because I can't sit around people who just.
So would you like to propose a policy?
I'd like a policy just to have whatever, 2 rows
All
somewhere.
right,
Doesn't
so
matter where it is.
then what I would recommend is at the next policy meeting, which is May?
May 11th.
Yep, and May 11th, then come into it and then let's have a discussion. And also let's figure out if policy or procedure, which is the most appropriate for that.
What time is that?
4:30. It's right before the board meeting. Okay, anything else that we would like to include for future meetings? All right, then a couple of reminders that we have. We have the BOCES general election, which is in the district office. That is on Tuesday, April 21st at 5 p.m. Our next board meeting then is May 11th. We have, so these are out of order. All right, before the next board meeting, we've got April 20th, the annual budget vote and election date, nominating petitions for candidates, excuse me, I can't even read. Let's see, nominating petitions for board candidacy is due on April 20th by 5 p.m. And now then our next board meeting. But as Todd had mentioned, we also have budget hearing, the annual budget hearing on May 5th, and then our budget vote on May 19th. So please mark your calendars accordingly. Is there any key event that I might have missed? Okay, and we encourage everyone to check the website that is updated continuously for that. All right, then let's take and move us on to the closing open forum. And please note that the same guidelines apply as stated during the first open forum without me having to reread them. Is there anyone that would like to speak? Do we have any emails?
No.
Okay, then I'm going to move us on. I need a motion to be made to adjourn to executive session to discuss personnel matters.
Karen.
Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you, everyone. Are we good? Okay. Thank you, everyone.